guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Evie, and I'm your host of Because Evie Said So. Welcome. Well, we're into season 23, episode 4. One more tale of two victims. So how did it start? Detective Velasco gets a desk in the SVU. He's honored to be there. Finn doesn't quite think so because he's not willing to help him settle in. He wants Kat's desk, but he can't have it. And I understand because he wants to pick the desk that Kat just left. So Kat's out, he's in, that's a problem. You know, Liv researched Velasco and she found out that he's legit, but she's worried that he might be McGrath's stooge. McGrath called a meeting and he's working Liv to show up when she calls. He seems like that kind of guy. Now McGrath moves into his new office. And guess what office it is, y'all? It's Garland's old office. Really? I can't stand him right now. Liv answers his questions because now he's asking her questions about every case that she has. She's not used to going through this. She's used to making her own way and making her own mind and making her own decisions. So she don't want to go over every case with him. She's not happy to have Velasco. She's disturbed and kind of pissed about it, but she accepts it. Velasco brings donuts to the unit and coffee, but Amanda tells him, I don't eat donuts. But Finn does. And she says he likes jelly donuts. So what happened? A woman is buying ice cream for her son. We see the young woman dancing with a guy, and they go out and they make out in the alley. Cuddy and Carisi. Amanda walks in and she tells him about Velasco. She says, look, this new guy Velasco might be McGrath's stooge. You might be telling him what we do in the SVU, so kind of keep it to yourself about our relationship. He's like, cool. Then we see the woman. She gets home and is dropped off by the guy that she was just dancing and having sex with at this point. And we see next that she's getting raped in front of her son, her 3-year-old son. She's threatened that if her son cries, then he dies. This is horrible. I can't imagine my kids seeing me get raped, upset, crying, and now I have to remain calm for them so they don't panic. It's really hard to keep children calm when they feel like something's wrong with their mom. So this is not an empty threat here. You know, if this baby cries, he's gonna kill him. That really got to me. Oh my God. So Crystal Nunez is her name. Finn and Velasco work the case together so he can train him. A ComEd guy knocked on her door, walked in, and raped her in front of her son. Now Amanda talks to Crystal. They need a rape kit, and she says the guy used a condom. He might be a stalker of hers. What she didn't do is tell them that she had been with someone that night at the dance. So she lies. She says she hasn't been with anybody. She mentions the guys that were harassing her earlier in front of the ice cream truck, but that's it. So Finn is teaching Velasco as they go. He obviously knows nothing about the SVU, about profiling the rapist, but not the victim. So Finn tells him profile the rapist, not the victim. Get it? So Liv breaks it down to them that McGrath wants this case solved in a hurry because it's all over the news. Crystal is in a custody battle with her husband and Liv is irritated really badly. So who did it? They have a print and it might be the ice cream guy, Travis Hillsdale. They question him, he recognizes Crystal, and then he tells them about the guys that were harassing her in front of his truck. And then they find that the print was in her apartment. Well, why was he in her apartment? He says that he brought her son's sippy cup back to her apartment and gave it to the babysitter one time. That's how his print got there. So they let it go. They line him up in a lineup. Crystal is unable to identify her rapist because she didn't really see him. So, he just goes about his business. He might have been profiling her though. So why? She has 3 different semen samples on her bed, so it's going to be hard to help her. They talk to her. She admits that her ex comes over and thinks they're still together. When they end up talking to Rafe, they find out that he did have consensual sex with her, but that he went home to his wife that evening. His wife? Really? So her neighbor upstairs and her, they actually had a sexual relationship too during the pandemic because they needed each other. I mean, they needed company. They needed companionship. I get it. I'm a single mom myself, but I don't have the same mindset as her, but I get it, So he says that he wasn't there on Friday because on Fridays, he goes home and has dinner with his mom and she does his laundry. So they talked to Manny's dad, Mr. Sosa, who was completely angry that his son witnessed his mom getting raped right in front of him. They asked him some questions. He is pissed off. He's like, do your job. McGrath said Crystal didn't disclose all of the guys when she talked to him before. So he's angry and suspicious. And he's like, well, there was no rape. He doesn't believe Crystal. He's really been a dick at this point. Liv is so mad at him. McGrath is worried about the headlines. He said that there's no case and to slow the roll. He's not eager to pursue this case at all. So Liv, she goes to the doctor. She needs to be cleared off her limited duty. We know in real life that she broke her ankle. They worked it into the SVU cases. I love it. He asked her, why don't you retire, And she says, no, I need to work. I love my job. And he says, well, I can hook you up right now. I can get you a full pension. He tries to get her to believe that she should retire. It's something we can see that she's thinking about at this point, but she says, nah, I gotta work. So Crystal, her ex, wants his son with him, and Crystal wants her son with her. So there's a battle custody, and she's worried. Liv assures her that they do believe her about the rape. Well, it happened again. Another woman was raped in front of her 18-month-old daughter. She's the daughter of an important police person on the force, maybe a captain, something like that. He knew that she had a daughter. He raped her, and Peggy is so messed up. This whole thing is so messed up. Now, she had a gun. She actually went for the gun. He grabbed the gun. He took the gun and pistol whipped her and said he would shoot her baby. If she cries, she dies. She's battered and bruised and clearly upset. This is a serial rapist at this point, and he took her gun. Now, McGrath is making a case that she's a solid witness and Crystal isn't. Wow. They work the case to see if they have a connection at any point, and the connection is the ice cream truck. So they go back to Travis and try to talk to him. He runs, and he has a gun. He knocks Amanda to the ground. She says he has a gun. They do corner him, Finn and Amanda, and then Velasco jumps out of nowhere like Superman and takes him down, and then he's trying to take the guy's head off. He's trying to put him to sleep in a sleeper hold, and they're like, let him go, and Velasco is like not letting him go. He's like a pit bull at this point. So he's so heated about this, but finally he does let him go. They do find out that Travis's DNA is under Peggy's fingernails, so this is the guy. Amanda tries to tell Velasco how to act around Finn, because she's like, you didn't do yourself any favors. You looked great and everything. We appreciate you taking them down. But to Finn, it wasn't all that. So the other lawyer thinks that they tipped Peggy off as to who to pick up out of the lineup, because she picks Travis out of the lineup easily. So that's a double standard. McGrath says they cannot use Crystal in the case. He's worried about the grand jury not accepting it because of Crystal. McGrath is a real piece of work, but he does say reasonable doubt is what he's worried about. They need to find DNA that will tie Travis to Crystal. So they go back to the house. Crystal's angry because they're not taking her seriously, but now they are. But the cop's daughter is being taken seriously. Like I said, double standard. They do get touch DNA from her son's blanket, because the guy, Travis, took the boy back to his room. They do match it to Travis. Travis is arraigned in the courtroom, and we see that the police have dang near beat his behind. He looks awful. Ooh, his face is so swollen. So a guy comes in and talks to Carisi, and then McGrath nods at Carisi like, okay. So Carisi ends up withdrawing the charges from Crystal's case. We could tell it's bothering him, but what can he do? The powers that be said that her case is not, able to be done. They say reasonable doubt is too strong. So he's not even being charged with her rape at this point. McGrath comes over, tells Carisi he's done a good job, well done, and I can't understand this guy at this point. So Travis was in police custody when he was actually beat up. I'm sure they beat him up. So how does it end? Crystal receives no justice for her case, as it was thrown out. So it's like her rape didn't even matter at all. And she's so upset about it, and I would be too. It's like the cop's daughter's rape mattered, but hers didn't. And she gets no help. So Liv goes to McGrath after this point and tells the chief that she's mad that Travis isn't being charged with Crystal's rape. She wants to know if Velasco is running back, tattletelling everything to him from her unit. And she lets him know that all rapes matter to her. No double standards for her. She says, just to be clear, I will quit. You can have my badge and my gun right now. And he says, I understand. He backs down, but he looks at her like he's about to do something, or he's got something cooking up in his head. She told him, good for you that you understand, basically, but I'm worried about her now. So comment time. What do you think about McGrath? What do you think about Velasco? What do you think will happen to Liv after telling McGrath off, Chief McGrath off now? Do you think Liv is considering the retirement question that was posed at her? What do you think of this episode in general? If you like the content and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and give me a big like, because it'll make me happy and I'd appreciate it. I cover Law and Order SVU and Law and Order Organized Crime, and maybe even the new Law and Order. Well, it's not new. It's renewed, though, for season 21 after 10 plus years. So we'll see how that goes. I do love you all. I hope you Law and Order on, and I'll see you in my next video.